What is up, guys? My name is Jack McNeil. Sorry for not being in the studio today. I'm actually on vacation in a very old cottage, so I'm going to try to do the best I can. Hopefully you can hear me fine. I want to make sure that you know Baseball Central as a network does not take a vacation, so if you ever want to get caught up on news, go ahead and check out baseballcentral.com. Now, getting past a little promotional things, what I just said, there were some big things that have been going on in baseball the past few days outside of the actual game of baseball, outside of the Royals, outside of the excitement of getting later in the season, almost in September. Politics has entered baseball. Now, of course, politics has always been a part of baseball. I mean, we don't think about it as fans, but, why are we watching that team on that TV right now, on that network? Who owns rights? There's always politics involved with the game of baseball itself, how deals are cut, how labor agreements are cut, how we're even able to watch baseball, and how there's not going to be another strike. I mean, politics. So getting beside that and getting into kind of the dirty game of politics and deciding a new leader, a new commissioner, this year's been really interesting. Usually, the next commissioner is unanimously decided by owners, all 30 of them. When they meet, they decide, and it's a coronation of the next owner. It's been a bit more of a battle this year. There's three very good potential candidates, and I'm going to quickly kind of summarize, which one, so you can figure out if you're supporting the guy who probably will become the next commissioner, or if you want to be part of that fighting group for an alternative option. Now, we have Michael Werner, excuse me, W-E-R-N, not A-R-N. Michael Werner, Rob Manfred, if I'm pronouncing that right. Manfred, it's Manfred. That's how it's pronounced. I mean, that's how it's spelled. I don't know if it's pronounced that way. And Tim Brosnan. So we have Werner, Manfred, and Brosnan. Not Pierce Brosnan, Tim Brosnan. He actually just dropped out right before the first vote, but he was the business guy. He was I guess he would be the Mitt Romney of the election, if I'm trying to relate this to American political terms. He's just the business candidate. I mean, he's the top business executive. If you think baseball needs a reform business-wise and needs to make more profit and find ways to do so, he'd probably be your bet. I think he's a very qualified candidate. Then you have Rob Manfred. He is the status quo candidate. He would be like if Joe Biden ran in next year's election. He's kind of the vice president to Bud Selig. He's a second-hand man, so for him not being voted in the first vote, which took place today, he got 22 votes. He needed 23. He still has a chance to get in very soon, but for him not to get that 23rd vote, it kind of signifies that some people aren't happy with the Bud Selig regime. So that probably hurts Bud Selig a bit. I mean, he is known as the most impactful commissioner in baseball history. Advancements in instant replay, getting through the strike was obviously his low point. Bud Selig, with all the different labor agreements that he's done, getting baseball to $9 billion in revenue, even after biogenesis, going through the steroid era, implementing the toughest drug testing policy in baseball, even though there is criticism for that testing policy. You would think that it would be an easy decision. Whoever is Bud Selig's man is going to get commissioner. And for a while, it looked like that. And then you have Werner step in, Tim Werner. Now, Werner, at first, I guess I would compare him to the Rand Paul. If Rand Paul runs in 2016, he's a libertarian. He's a libertarian in the Republican Party. It's not like literally a separate party, but just kind of a wild card compared to what we've seen in recent years in elections and everything else. So Werner is kind of can excite people for being different, for being that alternative option, not part of the status quo within MLB organization, but as part of the Red Sox and used to be part of the San Diego Padres. The reason why I'm not a fan of Werner being the next commissioner, and I don't think he will be at this point, very low chances, slim to none, after the first vote. He got 8 votes, by the way. Werner, for a while, seemed like somewhat of an attractive option, but then you actually look at the record, which a lot of voters just simply don't do when they, choose their leaders in actual elections. You look at the record, when he went to San Diego, he kind of cut and run. I mean, he took a winning team to a losing team. He traded off some of their best players. He left with making a profit, but he slimmed the payroll down to like $13 million or something. So, yes, he made a profit if that's what you're going for. But in terms of actually helping the team and growing a franchise, it was awful. I mean, he's not known in San Diego for being a good guy. And then you go to Boston, and he has obviously been part of a great organization there. He chose a very good rebound team. But people are kind of unsure how much of an impact he had on the organization itself. a really good candidate would be like a Larry Lucchini. It was pointed out in a few articles, I think Atlantic and maybe even USA Today's article. The CEO of the Red Sox, very successful. He would be an alternative option to the guys that are literally in the MLB itself already. Might have some new, fresh ideas for the game, could advance it. And he would be the guy, and I think he would be a very good option. Now, the only way someone like him gets in the ring is if Manfred isn't voted later today. He received 22. He needs 23 votes. But since Werner did not get 10 votes, they re-vote, and all it is yes or no on Manfred. All they need is 23 yeses. Thumbs up. That's it. You don't have two choices, just yes or no on Manfred. If they can get to 23, which I'm sure there's some back-end, backroom deals being cut right now, offering future jobs, this and that. Which, I mean, I'm sure it's illegal, but, some things are happening, obviously. If he does get voted up, he is the next commissioner. And while there was a little bit of a fight put up, a little bit of disagreement in which direction to go, he'll be a status quo commissioner. We'll see if he can change a lot. Maybe he's going in there and surprisingly we don't know about it, but he wants to make some big changes in baseball. I don't know. We'll soon know his positions on things and see where baseball, the game is headed. But again, he was known as a status quo candidate, and he received 22 and needed 23 the first vote. We'll see how he does the second vote. The reason why people were critical of Manfred was because people were critical of the drug testing program. They were also not putting really responsibility for the labor agreements. They weren't giving him credit. They were giving the Players Association credit. So that was another thing. And they wanted a salary cap. Some people want a salary cap. Some people want more aggressive changes and more progressive changes to baseball. And someone like a Larry Lucchini might not be afraid to go in there and, say what's on his mind and try to push for these things. Someone who's been in MLB for a long time, just like anything. If you've been in Washington for a long time, you're going to stick with the status quo. You have a lot of outside voices that are telling you what to do. So again, some people might just be sick of that. We might be entering an age where some teams want salary caps and others don't, obviously. Some maybe want more revenue sharing and others don't. Some people like the instant replay and want to, well, everyone has agreed to instant replay, but how far do you go with instant replay? DH for National League. I mean, we're at an age where there's some big decisions to be made, and I think some people would prefer an outside voice and not someone who is right under the last guy in Bud Selig. Now, that hurts Bud Selig's feelings a bit, and it kind of tarnishes his legacy to kind of go out and have confusion about who's the next commissioner. So that's why I think it will be over with very soon. He didn't get 23 the first time. It's thumbs up or thumbs down. If he can get that extra vote, he is the next commissioner. And all of this talk of confusion between owners, of Larry Lucchini could be the alternative option in November if Larry Rosendorf of the White Sox and other owners that don't like any of these options can push the vote all the way to November. Maybe we could see a surprise candidate come in at the end and get his commissioner's job with Tim Brosnan stepping down and as a businessman and Tim Werner, kind of a scary wild card option there, only getting 8 votes. It looks very likely Rob Manfred, who is the second-hand man to Bud Selig, will become the next commissioner of baseball. That's all I got, folks. American politics and MLB politics go hand in hand. There's too many comparable figures in it. Politics is politics. So we'll see what happens by the end of the day. They'll have their second vote. I think today. I don't want to misspeak, but I'm pretty sure the second vote is happening today. It's just to vote thumbs up or thumbs down on Manfred. So we'll see what happens there. Comment who you think the commissioner should be, not just the owner of your favorite team, but should a guy like Larry Lucchini, someone who has a very good track record, step in as an alternative candidate in November if they can get past his first voting and not give Manfred the 23 votes? Do you think Werner was a good option, bad option? Do you think Brosnan should have stayed in the race? I mean, it's pretty interesting stuff here. It's backroom politics to MLB, which normally we don't see. All right, that's it, guys. Jack McNeil here, host for Baseball Essential. Go ahead and check out the site and follow us on Twitter at @BB_Essential. We'll be back with more, of course, and I know I hate to say it. I can't wait for the offseason because we're in the midst of the playoff races here, a great season, but the offseason is going to bring a lot of new things for Baseball Essential and some great shows, some great interviews as players will actually have time to do it. So stay tuned with us, guys. I know we have not been posting as frequently as we wish, and we did last year. But stay tuned. Stay up with us. Stay up with us. Was that the right? Stay up with us. I don't know why you said that. Thanks, guys, for watching. Of course, you can follow me personally on Twitter at Janko McNeil. Yes, that is the username. All right, guys, have a good one.